Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Easy Mathematics. On our previous video, we come to know about the axiomatic definition of probability. Using this definition and its axioms, we are going to deduct some theorems from there. These are very important theorems, and one by one we just learn the statement of the theorems. So the first theorem is probability of a null set, or the null set means it is the null event, is 0. So the probability of impossible event, that also we can say, always the probability of impossible event or the null event is 0. The next theorem is probability of the complementary event. Any event space is given, its complement, if we want to find out the probability of the complement of any given set, then its probability is 1 minus the probability of the event set. So this one we can explain with an example. For example, let us consider that find the probability of getting at least a sum of 5 in a single throw with 2 dice. There are 2 dice given. Now we are supposed to find out the probability of getting at least the sum of 5. Now, if we have 2 dice, then with 2 dice, the total sample space contains the 36 number of events. Total 36 numbers are there. So now with this one, we will find out that 2 dice are there. So in 2 dice, their sum is at least 5, means 5 or more than 5. So 5 or more than 5, there are so many possibilities. Among those, what we will do, we can find out the sum of up to 4. So up to 4 if the sum we will consider, then the order pairs which are included over there, that we can find out as 1, 1, then 1, 2, 2, 1, then 3, 1, then 1, 3, one more is 2, 2, then that's all, because 2, 3 if we consider, then it is 5. So not more than that. So the favorable cases are this one. So this one is the event which we consider, which gives us the event which contains the sum is 4, not exceeding 4. So there the total favorable cases are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total 6 favorable cases are there where the sum is either 4 or less than 4. So that the probability of getting the event E, that means the sum is 4 or less than 4, it is 6 divided by 36, that is 1 upon 6. Now our requirement is the probability of getting the sum is at least 5. So that if we will do at least 5 means which are not including, that means which event not included these all outcomes, these are our requirement, so that we can take the complementary set of this set, so that this one we can, if we will find out the probability of E complement, then this one we can write as 1 is the total probability, so total probability minus the probability of E, so that it is 1 minus 1 upon 6, so it is total 5 by 6. So this is the probability of getting at least a sum of 5 in a single throw with 2 dice. So in this way we can use the complement of a event to get the probability. Now the next theorem is probability of any event lies always in between 0 and 1. Next one is if A is an event which is the union of the n number of events. That means there are total n events given and A is the union of these all. So and this A1, A2 and AN, these all are mutually exclusive events. Then we can write probability of A is the individual probability of all those events. In particular, if A is your S means the entire sample space, then we will find out probability of S is the summation of all this, that should be essentially 1, because we know the certain event or the sure event, its probability is 1 and the sample space provide us the sure event. Next theorem is if A is the subset of B A is the event set and B is also the event set. If A is the subset of B, then the probability of A is also the subset of probability of B. Next theorem is, for any two event A and B, probability of A is equals to the probability of A intersection B plus probability of A intersection B complement. And if we consider it for probability of B, then we can write it as probability of A intersection B plus probability of A complement intersection B. With the Venn diagram also we can verify this one. So the probability of A means our requirement is the probability of this portion. Now probability of A intersection B means only this common portion. And the A intersection B complement, B is this entire one, B complement is except this one, the remaining this all is the B complement. Now B complement here, A intersection B complement, A is this one and B complement means except this portion, the entire one. So the common portion is this one only. So that A intersection B complement is this portion, and with that if we add this portion its probability, then it will provide the probability for the entire A set. So that's why we have written this one. Accordingly the same we can do for the set B. Next theorem is the, for any two events A and B which may or may not be mutually exclusive, for them we can find out probability of A union B is equals to probability of A plus probability of B minus of probability of A intersection B. What does it mean? If A and B are two mutually exclusive events, that means among A and B there are no elements common, then we can find out the probability of A union B as probability of A plus probability of B. That's all. But if they are not necessarily mutually exclusive, that means maybe in between AB there are some elements common, then its probability for, we will find out the probability of this portion, then the probability of this portion. So after adding these two, we will find out that this one we will using 2 times. That's why we subtract this portion once, so that we will find out this one. This is also called the theorem of total probability. Now corresponding to this one, we have an example. So what we will do in this example, the question is, one member is selected from first 20 positive integers. What is the probability that it is divisible by 3 or 4? So initially let us consider two events. First event is the event that selected number is divisible by 3. And the another event is B, which includes the event that selected number is divisible by 4. Our sample space contains the total 20 numbers. So the number of elements in S is 20 because it is given that the all first 20 positive integers are our sample space. So it contains definitely 1, 2, 3 in this way up to 20. These are the initial 20 integers. Now event A contains the elements which are divisible by 3. That means it should be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 and that's all. Because after 18 it is 21 which is not included in S. Now for B, the elements should be divisible by 4, means the elements are 4, 8, 12, 16 and then 20. So these are the elements. So the total number of elements in A, that is 3, 3 and 6, and the total number of elements in B, these are 5. Now A intersection B. A intersection B means the elements which are divisible by both 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 by both, the element divisible by 3 and 4 is, I think it is 12. So 12 is the element which is divisible by 3 and 4 both, and no other elements are divisible by 2 and 3 both included in this sample space. So the total number of elements which are included in A intersection B is 1. Now according to the theorem 7, we can write the probability for A union B, means our requirement is what is the probability that it is divisible by 3 or 4. So that our requirement is the probability of A union B. Here probability of A plus probability of B With that, we should subtract this one because A and B are not mutually exclusive. There one element is common between A and B. That's why now if we substitute the values for the probability of A, total number of elements are 20. So the probability of A is 6 by 20. Probability of B is 5 by 20. And the probability of A intersection B is 1 upon 20. Now if we simplify this one, then it will be 11 by 20 minus 1 upon 20. So that it is 10 by 20. So that we will find out this one is equals to 1 by 2, which is the probability. In this way, we can solve this one. Now, one more theorem, which is the extension of the previous one. And the theorem is for any 3 events instead of 2, if we have 3 events which are mutually exclusive, then probability of A union B union C is equals to probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C minus of probability of A intersection B minus probability of B intersection C minus probability of C intersection A plus probability of A intersection B intersection C. So this is, instead of 2, there are the 3 events. So now for example, we will start with this one. Let A, B, C are 3 newspapers from a city. 25% of the population reads A. So at first what we will do, we just draw the picture. A, B and C are the 3 different type of newspapers according to the problem. 25% of the population reads A. So it is 25%. Next it is the 20% reads B. So 20% reads B and the 15% reads C. It is given. Next it is given that 16% reads both A and B. Both A and B means this portion. So the 16% reads both A and B. Then 10% reads B and C. So B and C means this one. So here it is given that 10% reads B and C. And 8% reads A and C, 8%. And one more thing is given, the 4% reads all 3. That means this is the 4%. So 4% reads all these 3. Then our requirement is to find the percentage of the population who read at least one of A, B and C. So at least one of A, B, C means here it is given that the probability percentage of A, which is 25 by 100. Then probability percentage of B is given as 20 by 100. Probability of C is equals to, then it is 15 by 100. Then probability of A intersection B is, it is 16 by 100. Probability of B intersection C is given 10 by 100. Probability of A intersection C is given 8 by 100. And probability of A intersection B intersection C is given 4 by 100. So according to the theorem, we are supposed to find out probability of A union B union C, which is the probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C, then minus probability of A intersection B, minus of probability of B intersection C, minus probability of C intersection A, then plus probability of A intersection B intersection C. So if we substitute all those values, that means here it is 25 by 100 plus 20 by 100, then it is 15 by 100 minus of 16 by 100 minus 10 by 100, then minus 8 by 100 and plus 4 by 100. So if we simplify this one, then we will find out it is 30 by 100. So it will implies that there are 30% of the population who read at least one of A, B and C. Now the next theorem is for n events, that is just the generalization of the previous one. Previously we discussed with the 2 events, then 3 events. Now there are n number of events. If there are n number of events, then we will say the same thing. The probability of union of all those is equals to the summation of individual probability minus the summation of the pairwise probability, then the plus of probability for any 3 events. If we consider in this way, it will continue. This is the generalization of the previous 2 theorem. Now it is the Bool's inequality, which we will find out from the previous theorem only. For n number of events, probability of A1 union A2 union A3 up to An is less than equals to probability of A1 plus probability of A2 plus probability of A3. In this way, probability of An. Or symbolically we can write probability of union of Ai, where I from 1 to n is less than equals to summation of probability of Ai, where I from 1 to n. Just look at the previous one. Here this one is less than equals to this one. So the remaining portion we deduct. That's so why we can easily write it as the less than equals to. That one also we can solve, or we can just understand with an example. So the question is, if 2 events A and B are such that probability of A is 1 by 3, probability of B is 2 by 3, then prove that probability of A union B is greater than equals to 2 by 3. So for that, we know that the probability of A union B is equals to probability of A plus probability of B minus of probability of A intersection B. It is given that probability of A is 1/3, probability of B is 2/3. So if we substitute that, then we will find out this way probability of A intersection B. So that from here we will find out that the probability of A union B plus of probability of A intersection B is equals to 1. So that from here it is very obvious that the probability of A intersection B, it is very obvious that the probability of A intersection B should be less than equals to 1 by 3, because probability of A is 1 by 3. B is 2 by 3. So among these two, the smallest is the 1 by 3. That's why its probability value definitely be less than or equals to 1 by 3. So now if we substitute that, then we will find out probability of A union B. This one is less than equals to 1 by 3, means we can substitute here it is greater than equals to 1 by 3 minus of, it is plus of 1, and this one is minus. So that will implies probability of A union B is greater than equals to 2 by 3. Hence the proof. This is our Bool's inequality. One more inequality we will generate from here, that is the Bonferro's inequality, and it states that for n events A1, A2, An, probability of intersection of Ai, all events we consider its intersection, if we consider, then it is greater than equals to summation of probability of Ai minus of n minus of 1. If A and B are 2 events, then probability of A union B, we know that it is less than equals to PA plus PB. This is Bool's inequality. And if 2 events are there, their intersection means we can write greater than equals to PA plus PB minus 1. This one is the Bonferro's inequality. Equality occurs if events are mutually exclusive only. If the events are mutually exclusive, then only this equal to sign will be there, otherwise not. So that's all for these theorems from the axiomatic theorems. Now in our next video we discuss few more theorems of probability. These are very important theorems, not theorems actually. These are the different way by which we can solve the various type of situations in probabilistic manner. So have a nice day. Thank you all.